All right, so another week, another fantastic set of data points that we reviewed, and thought we'd have a conversation about this thought that's been bouncing around my head. Are convenience stores still convenient overall? And I think there's a number of ways you can answer that, but what do you think about that as a question?
I mean, it depends. They are for me. I go to convenience stores still once or twice a week, but I mean, convenience stores were started because of this concept of I will provide one thing to my customers when they need it the most in the most convenient way possible. There's a really cool story around it if you want to share that, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, and it started in ice docks, right? I mean, they were folks providing ice, and they decided, when the automobile came around and customers had mobility and wheels, they started providing cold watermelon, and then it expanded into groceries, and so ultimately, with the expanded hours of 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., we came to be known as 7-Elevens. So it's fascinating to me to think about how technology and the shifts in technology back in the early days in the 20s resulted in a whole new industry. So, in that sense, convenience stores were founded based on technology innovation and what that allowed. And that kind of struck me as I think about today. We certainly hear some of our customers and potential customers in the space say, delivery, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to be on third party marketplaces or whatever the answer is. And it's almost this weird juxtaposition because customers are speaking, customers are sharing what it is that they want, and technology innovation and technological innovation was kind of a founding function of where convenience came from. So it's just interesting to me, and I thought, as customers tell us more and more as they behave and vote with their dollars, what are we seeing as a reflection? The question, are convenience stores still maybe as convenient these days?
It's interesting, Justin, because convenience stores, as you said, came from providing just ice at ice docks, and transformed into providing other types of goods, eggs, things like that that people would want by just walking to the store. And eventually, when cars kind of came about, being able to get gasoline and things of that sort. And so, as you think about convenience today, there's this blurred line between convenience and QSRs. In fact, I saw a stat that 60% of consumers would be comfortable eating food from a convenience store even over a QSR restaurant, which is a big deal because you have some great brands out there like Chick-fil-A, Burger King, and so forth. And so we have convenience at where it started with. Where's convenience heading? Maybe if you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I think technology, it continues as a foundation to shift the way we use different assets in our life, the way we experience the world around us, and convenience stores are no exception. We're seeing a ton of push towards prepared foods because, again, I've got a very analytical brain, and so I think about it, and I'm like, well, restaurants, in-house dining provide a bunch of experiences, right? You can go, they sing you happy birthday, they'll bring you refills and beverages, and they'll play some music. There's conversation going all around you. But if you strip out all of that and you just think about the food, the one thing restaurants have over delivery of that food is it's hot. It comes right out of the kitchen. But then technology and packaging and technology and food prep can really, execute a shift there as well. And so at a certain point, maybe not steak restaurants yet, but a lot of restaurants can deliver the food just as hot and fresh, in the 15-20 minute drive as they can right at the table where sometimes it even sits under heat lamps in the restaurants. So in that kind of sense, you got to think about restaurants as simply a vehicle for food preparation prior to serving and delivery to the customer. Well, convenience stores actually have an advantage there because the way they're placed from a real estate standpoint is often much closer to dense neighborhoods and folks that are ready to eat those meals. So to the extent that convenience stores flip into prepared foods and invest in getting good at it and good ingredients, um, they can serve that need, that occasion of delivered food just as good, if not better and faster than a lot of the restaurants and QSRs as well. So it's just an interesting way to think about that as the driver, but behind the evolution in convenience and prepared food. You're always going to have the gas, although we see EVs coming on, and kind of the percentage of folks driving miles in EVs can have an impact, and so convenience stores are experimenting with charging stations and what is that going to do. You see folks wanting delivery more and more. They want to leave the house less because whether it's because of COVID or because they can now, they're getting delivery more and more. So where do they get that delivery from? Stores, grocery stores doing delivery. So I think all of this is impacting convenience stores as they think ahead about what is their place in the world, what is their ultimate driver, what value specifically are they delivering to customers.
Yeah, you know, convenience stores being convenient, you asked this question, are they still convenient today? Convenience stores started with providing one product, moved into a whole bunch of different things, moved into hot foods. Now, uh, brands like Casey's, soon 7-Eleven with the Japanese assortment they're bringing into the 7-Elevens here in the US, are starting to provide really good quality foods. And outside of food, as we think about what is making convenience stores convenient for customers, we think about what is that user experience like at the convenience store, whether it's at the pump, whether it's inside the store, that allows this experience to be much more preferential or convenient. And so, as I think about trends we're seeing across the industry, what are brands doing across that in-store experience, the kind of the variables outside of the specialty food that is making stores more convenient?
Yeah, I mean, there's payment technologies, right? There's pay at the pump. That's years old at this point, but it makes it really convenient, so you no longer have to go in, get the pump turned on, etc. There's kiosk ordering. So I think there's a statistic, and you may have it more handy than I do. But when somebody executes a self ordering, whether it's on their phone or in the app, they tend to spend more, or they customize the way they want it. So there's a higher close rate on those. I forget the exact statistic, but it makes sense intuitively as a consumer that if I don't have to go through that, for a lot of consumers, there's still that angst of like, the old adage of the Starbucks line. I don't want to go to the Starbucks line because I don't want to say I want a half calf decaf, all this stuff that I can never get right if I'm asked to go order for my wife. But if you don't have that angst, you can just punch it in yourself, and it's super convenient. You're going to order more frequently. You're going to order bigger orders. You're going to get exactly what you want. Your satisfaction is going to be higher. So I think there's a lot of technology that is, as you say, it's empowering consumers, and it's affecting the experience at the convenience store. The thing that I was pushed to consider by our friend Art when we were chatting with him last week is that you need to think about this as occasions. And I hadn't really thought about it that way, at least not explicitly. So you have the I'm driving by, I need gas occasion. Okay, gas tank's empty. There's the convenience store. I pull in, I get gas. That's an occasion. It's an identifiable beginning and end of a consumer experience. Now, if you're hungry and you need gas, well, there's a slightly different occasion, and you want to pull in somewhere that's got gas, but you also want to look at what is the food offering they have. It is extremely convenient in that sense to pick up food, satisfy your hunger, fill your tank of gas, and move on. But then you've got kind of like specialty occasions. Like I want something different than I'm eating normally, and I'm willing to drive around for it. And whether it's a crispy, crunchy chicken or a Hunt Brothers pizza or something that you're craving, you're willing to drive on the way home from work or on the way to work or whatnot and go pick that up. But I think the occasion that strikes us the most is the delivery occasion. I don't want to leave my house. And this is why, depending on any number of the statistics or surveys that you look at, 80, 82, 81% of customers, they would not have gotten in the car to replace that delivery order. So if you don't offer delivery, if you don't serve that occasion, you're going to miss out on that occasion, on that customer.
Agreed. As a consumer that orders and uses C-stores at other occasions, there's a lot more here. I mean, there's the digital ordering. And by the way, that's been kind of de-risked by this quick commerce, rapid expansion over the last 5 years. Companies like GoPub have showed that being able to have access to things in a 15, 20, 30-minute experience opens up a lot of consumers that are actually shopping. Um, same for Amazon and same for other kind of delivery occasions. What I've seen some really interesting brands like Hop Shop and others do is have a disco that provides an occasion for folks to get married at the store. There's, the obvious occasion. I'm looking for a bathroom around me, which we were visiting a prominent brand in the Northeast, and it's, concentration on Google Maps listings, and that is very important. You can't be found if you're not online on a search index somewhere. And so I think you bring up a good point. It's these occasions, and certainly shopping at home is an important one. Looking for a bathroom is an important one. What I've seen in metropolitan cities is occasions like I need to store my luggage for the next 6 hours. You have companies that are providing that experience now, and
Yeah,
so I'd be curious. Yeah,
yeah, no, it's just the occasion. It kind of really opened my eyes to think about that because a lot of times we talk about shifting consumer demand. They want X, we want them to buy Y or try Y, and so how do we go about shifting that demand? Occasions are really hard to shift consumers off of, and delivery or ordering from home, that service, that consumption at home without leaving is a really sticky, hard to shift occasion. If somebody's deciding, we've got a group dinner, 8 of us, family, we don't see each other that often, we're going to go out to dinner, you're not going to convince them to order in, right? It'd be very hard. You maybe say, well, cater your next big meal or something like that. We'll bring it, we'll serve it, we'll do all that. You might shift some people, and people do try that, but it's unlikely that if it's 10, 11 p.m. at night, you want that midnight snack, you're hungry, you're not going to shift somebody off of that occasion to order and make them get in their car and go to the store. You're just not going to do it. And so if you think about these on occasions and you think about which occasions are you willing to serve, um, I think that's the meaningful discussion when it comes to what technology do you put to use in your convenience store in order to serve your customers. You mentioned the disco backgrounds or the disco bathrooms. It's a fascinating use case. There are customers where you can decide, I'm not doing delivery, I'm not doing XYZ, whatever it is, but I am going to serve them so well in this area that I'm going to have my hands full doing just that. And the customers will flock to your store just for that experience, whether it's a specific food item that is so good, an overall entertainment experience like a disco bathroom or a wedding, even that we've seen happen there. Those are really unique experiences. And that's a convenience store owner saying, maybe someday I'll get into delivery, but I am going to serve my customers so strongly in this one sense that it's going to override, some of those other occasions at times. And so there are ways to be successful without following customers down the path of delivery occasions. But for most folks, it's more a question of like, how do we do it profitably? How do we do it effectively? Because customers, the data is clear. Customers want delivery. Those occasions are more and more often these days, especially in the generations, the Gen Zs, the millennials that you want to serve now that are controlling all the dollars. You want those customers, and so it's more about how, and that's where we spend a good bit of time focusing with our customers. How do you make that profitable?
that's is response, Justin. I know we're coming up to time here, and I mean the occasions kind of connect to so much. Art mentioned this flywheel of connecting those occasions to things like retail media and personalization, providing a phenomenal customer experience in the store. And so uh, I think we'll end it at that. Great conversation, and we will see you at the next chat.
Yeah, more to come.